Hello, I'm MPX and welcome back to the video. Today we'll be trying something rather interesting to do with the Woodland Mansion because, to be honest, this structure kind of still blows my mind. The fact that we have something this big in Minecraft as a naturally generated structure is still really cool and still something my brain doesn't properly comprehend when I run across one of these. However, today I figured, because I found out during my, top 10 best updates of all time series, that you can actually retrograde any Minecraft world into pretty much any update and the game can deal with it. For some reason, the engine's just programmed to deal with that in a way which pretty much no other version of the game can do. I think it'd be kind of fun to take this world, which has a Woodland Mansion and, all the necessary structures around it, like modern day biomes, and to retrograde it slowly through the various versions of Minecraft to see just how much it downgrades through each one. So yeah, we'll be taking a few steps back, maybe 3, maybe 4, and we're going to be seeing what the Woodland Mansion looks like as we take it through various Minecraft updates, back into 1.7, back into 1.3, etc. And then we're going to see exactly how much the Woodland Mansion changes as we take it back through time. So yeah, today we'll be taking the Woodland Mansion back through various Minecraft updates, back through time, and hopefully you'll enjoy the video as we go through that. So in case you're curious, this is a pretty normal one. It's not any special Woodland Mansion, and that's why today's video is going to be fun. Hopefully you'll do enjoy it. So like if you do like it, because it helps out the channel. Let's know you do like these sorts of videos. But with that said, let's get straight into the very first one here. By the way, this is just a natural random gap. Let's get straight into talking about exactly how this is going to change, because as you can see, this is the 1.12 Woodland Mansion. It's pretty much the same as the 1.11 one. There's no changes whatsoever, because it's just the same structure. But let's see what happens when we take it all the way back to 1.7, shall we? So I made this huge point about how any world could be taken back into any previous version and it would still work, but that seems not to be true for 1.7. 1.7 crashed anytime I tried to level this world, so instead I went back to 1.6, which is a significant downgrade beyond even that, because now we're not just taking away banners and the illagers and stuff like that, but we're also taking away the brand new types of wood. So interestingly enough, somehow it's programmed into 1.6 to retrograde every single block that isn't, dark oak, and to somehow turn it into oak, or at least maybe there's just not enough oak around that it somehow works. But as you can see, now the Woodland Mansion has changed significantly, because all the the dark oak logs, they've been entirely removed and replaced. Like they're just gone right now. As you can see, there's nothing there in their place, which is really kind of weird to look at. Just like, oh yeah, so the Woodland Mansion that was this intimidating structure, now it just looks like something someone made way back when in Minecraft, when there was just wood and cobblestone. It's kind of weird to look at, because again, it lost all of its detail, all of its charm, and also every single one of these windows has these just weird gaps outside of them. But besides that, it still has the same rough structure. Again, it's got the rather interesting, a thing here of like, oh yeah, well, all the dark oak wood is now just oak, so the Woodland Mansion, which was this dark, brown structure, has turned into this really light brown structure. And honestly, there's something interesting about looking at it in this update alone. Just seeing all the wood change alone is just probably the biggest change we'll see today. And it's also quite interesting that all of the biome around it, because 1.7 was the update that introduced, of course, if you don't know, the the roof forest, the biome around it has been entirely shifted as well. So what used to be a huge roof forest, you guys saw it, has now been replaced by the huge mushrooms, which still exist, and some regular trees, which means you get this really interesting situation where we just have a bunch. It's the roughest terrain filled with lighting glitches, because the world it wasn't programmed to handle this. When they made 1.6, they weren't thinking, oh yeah, in 5 updates time, in 4 years time, we're going to introduce the Woodland Mansion, but that's what happened here instead. So let's do one last panorama shot around it. Let's see what the whole thing looks like from the sides. As you can see, it's pretty it's pretty weird already. Before we take back another few updates, because 1.6 already has quite a few things not included in 1.3, so we're gonna go back 3 updates. Also, look, you can see mobs are spawning all over in those dark areas, because technically it's dark because of the lighting glitch, so creepers everywhere. But let's go back even more updates into 1.3. So 1.3.2 coming right up now. So actually getting Minecraft 1.3 to work required a little bit of, stressing around with the game, because you have to delete options.txt, otherwise it just crashes straight away. But here we are now with 1.3, the same Woodland Mansion being retrograded one more time. Obviously, carpets only came in 1.4, if I'm not mistaken, so all the carpets have now been removed, and the place got even more bare. You know how I said before, it's kind of like someone who was just building way back in the early days of Minecraft, when there was just wood and cobblestone. Now it looks even more like that, except it looks like someone who was just, because we lost even more detail. It looks like someone who is just like, I've chopped down some oak trees, I went mining for some stone, that's enough blocks for me in the game now. So, yeah, as you can see, all of the carpet's been removed, which removes a serious layer of detail. Any amount of color and variance is being taken away. And also, all of the cobblestone fences, I think they're called that, cobblestone walls, have been removed as well. So, the outside, which previously had, again, I like to call it detail, but whatever you want to think about it as, the context, the layers of it, have now been entirely removed altogether. So, yeah, now we just have a structure which looks looks like it's made pretty much of just 2 blocks, just oak wood, just, oh wait, I guess 3 blocks, glass panes, then some cobblestone, and then we've got some floating torches, because it used to have, you know, they're from before, there used to be some fences made of dark oak, and the blocks haven't updated yet. If we remove any of these blocks, we'll break one of them now. Obviously, the block will update, and it will kind of shift, and if you just wait here long enough, eventually that will happen by itself. But for now, we have floating torches, we have a little bit of wool, and I want to look around the rest here, because we have pretty much nothing else, right? Like, oh, we got some bookcases here, that's nice enough, I guess, and, oh, the floor's made of birch wood, so that's nice too. You can see how there's, like, you know, contrast between the floor and the rest. But besides that, we've got pretty much, oh, and the lighting, by the way, it's having a hard time because it had to, like, change all these blocks recently. But essentially, we have, oh, also, because we've lost the 1.7 update, and the biomes around are still just as messy. It seemed like they were more messy, but maybe I'm just imagining it. And yeah, essentially, things are pretty bad already, but what if we take things back another step to 1.0? I'm not sure we'd even lose from 1.0 to 1.3, but I feel like we have to give it a try before we go any further back, because that's the last update where we'll still have creative and still be able to fly around it like this. So yeah, let's go back to the 1.0 full release update when Minecraft officially released back in 2011, and let's see what the latest structure they've added to the game. Again, 1.11, we're talking about 2016 feature here, right, or 2017 feature, and we're going to be taking that all the way back to 2011, and let's see what it looks like over there. So be right back. Okay, so as you can see, now we are here in Minecraft 1.0. I think we're back in the time before commands, so if we want to go to sleep, we're going to have to make our own bed. The creative menu has changed, everything like that has changed, and if I'm not mistaken, my Woodland mansion seems to have vanished entirely, or at least my position has. Oh, okay, here's the craziest thing about this one. So going back before 1.0 means that we've actually changed the seed format of the world, and that means that everything that existed before is now gone, because the world generates based on your thing, and all of the detail about where we are and what's going on, that is all missing now. So if we want to get anywhere, I think our previous thing was at, like, yeah, no, it was right here. The Woodland Mansion was here, but for some reason it's just gone entirely missing, because there's like a weird retrograding effect between, I think it's like 1.2 and 1.0, because they decided to base on the seed, which means my Woodland Mansion has entirely gone in 1.0. So what does it look like when you take a 1.11 world to 1.0? I mean, it looks like this. We have a forest. My huge mushrooms are gone now too. It's just nothingness here. So let's try and take it back a step, all the way back into a previous Minecraft update of beta, 1.6.6, the first update that came out for Minecraft on the 360, and let's see what it looks like there, because I don't know if we'll even manage to get it back, but let's at least give it a try. So the answer to what happens if we try to go back before 1.0 is the world will always convert to its pre-Woodland Mansion state. So at the same time, we live in this world where we have a, like a superposition kind of thing of a Woodland Mansion which exists here on one version of the seed, and then the other version of the seed which is generated based on a thing. I don't know how there's two worlds existing at the same time, but then in this version, we live right here where, as you can see, it's nighttime and we have no Woodland Mansion. So I think this is as far back as we can go. I'm going to try and do some magic to go a little bit beyond that, but instead, let's go back to the future. Let's take this exact same world all the way back into 1.12, and let's see what happens now we've gone all the way back to 1.0, and now we're going to go back into the future of 1.12 and see what it then looks like, to just see what happens when you go all the way back in time, and then you come back again. So see you in a second. So here we are back in Minecraft 1.12.2, because we had to delete our options, you can see how it's like going to give me like instructions in the top right, but no, here we are back in the future of Minecraft, and the interesting thing about this world, besides the fact the music's got suddenly louder, is the fact that, as you can see, the oak wood left, it had its like data, maintained in the file. I think it's called an MBT value, but it had that, data stored in it regardless. So even though we went all the way back to a time before, this type of, before the dark oak, it still managed to retain its thing, which means we've gone back here into 1.12, and although lots of things have gone missing, the vast majority of things, in fact, have gone like hugely missing, and now we have a very bland Woodland Mansion, we do have something, like, for some reason the wood blocks, like the actual, the logs, they've been missing, and all of the, the cobblestone fences are missing, all of the carpet is missing, and a lot of other blocks. Like, again, look at the majority of these rooms, they're missing the majority of the things that exist in them. Like, doors have gone missing for some reason, I guess they were previous doors, the chest has gone missing, it's replaced with a wood block, it seems. Like, the bed is now just some white wool. Basically, by taking the thing back in time and then taking it back forwards, we have now a rather basic structure of what's going on here, and maybe this helps you appreciate just how much detail can change a thing. Like, I feel like that's the lesson to be learned here, because I'll be honest, the reason I did this is because I figured it'd be kind of fun to look back at it, but I feel like there's also a lesson to be learned from this video, which is that the details that you put in a build are the difference between having something which looks like something from vanilla Minecraft. Like, this still honestly looks to me like we're playing beta Minecraft, just flying around and that sort of stuff. Oh, by the way, the biome, like, it stayed changed from back before 1.8, so we've lost our roof forest forever, it seems. But it's a valuable lesson in just how much detail can change the build. Like, if this room right here, it just looks like a pile of cobblestone, the banners and, you know, the waste, you know, having, like, properly finished walls, it's, wait, here's the best way to put it. So, the first 90% of a build you do, it can look terrible, as long as the next 10% you do is finishing it off properly. If you, again, if you actually finish off the last part of your build, if you add the detail in the world that accentuates what you're doing, you can have a build which goes from a 1 out of 10, because let's be honest, if you saw this normally, you'd be like, someone made the ugliest huge Minecraft build ever, but if you add in the extra stuff, you get like a 7 out of 10, an 8 out of 10, or if you're really good, you can get a 10 out of 10 Minecraft build, and maybe there's a lesson than that, or realistically, maybe you had fun seeing just how bad a Woodland Mansion looks if you take it back in time for Minecraft updates. I learned a thing about how the 2 versions of Minecraft world exist simultaneously, and maybe you learned something about the Woodland Mansion and building in general, but I hope you all enjoyed this video regardless. I had a lot of fun making it. It was just something I was inspired to do because of the Top 10 Minecraft update series, and if you want to check that out, there is of course a playlist on my channel. I'll link it at the end of this video, but for now, I hope you all enjoyed this because I'll see you all in the next one. Have a nice day, everyone. Goodbye.